Stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Stacking my coin. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash. Stacking my coin.
Oh yeah, it's your boy Crypto Blood. Let's go.
Keep blowing my horn. We fuck with porn. These rappers is whack. They lyrics is corn. I'm getting this money.
Tonight we've got two of the greatest cats in the game joining us tonight. Let's go.
Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash.
Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Let's get it.
Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, cash.
Tonight, we're going to be talking about Coinflex announcing a significant layoff amid an $85 million dispute with Bitcoin Jesus. I talked about this on My Two Satoshis a couple of weeks ago. Also, Singapore Exchange Zipmex, never even heard of these people, files for bankruptcy. And this one, ladies and gentlemen, I think is a very good move by Solana to go ahead and open some physical stores. They're opening one in New York. We're going to get some feedback from the panel. We got Trek with 2Ks. We got my man LJ. We're going to get it rocking tonight. Let's go. Tesla sells their stash of Bitcoin. Was it a good move or a bad decision? We'll look at the article and see why they did it as well. And we'll get your feedback on that too. Let's get it.
Hot boy, do it big time. LMA with my summer bay. We booed up. Cali hit the bay.
Ethereum Classic rallies hard as the ETH merge approaches. You won't believe who actually suggested you go buy ETH Classic if you ain't down with proof of stake migration that Ethereum is doing. We'll look at that tonight as well. Let's go.
We pulled up, sipping on this drink, bitch. I know the way. We juiced up, nigga violate till it's JFK like.
And a new twist in the Ripple versus the SEC case. We'll take a look at that. You guys know I ain't a Ripple fan at all, but hey, this case is heating up. We'll have to see what the panelists have to say about it. Let's go. All that on tonight's episode of Off the Chain, and that's number 83. Let's go.
Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Okay. Ready?
Fucking thing sucks. We'll do it live.
This episode is brought to you by FairDesk, a crypto derivatives trading platform founded by 6 former Binance execs and 3 former Morgan Stanley architects. FairDesk is a company focused on building a platform that enables traders to profit from both rising and falling markets. Sign up today and CB will credit you up to $600 in trading funds. For more information, visit fairdesk.com, link in the description below. All right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We got a whole bunch of melanated folks up in this bad boy today.
What's going on? Can y'all hear me loud and clear?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing, man?
I hear you, 10 pound. Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Microphone checker. 10 pound is not in the thumbnail, ladies and gentlemen, because he said he just wanted to come on at the last minute. I should have, extended the invite. I'm sorry, 10 pound. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my G. Yeah, life happens, bro. We all out here busy, doing things. And, I know you and Trek and LJ, y'all got something special going on. So
yeah, we sure do.
I'm not going to interrupt that love triangle. It's all good.
Oh, no, come on, man. Pause. Wait a minute.
Hey,
you got me there.
Hey, you getting caught up in the metaverse, man. That's all. We ain't, you lost in the metaverse, man.
Yep,
you down that rabbit hole.
Well, how's everyone week? How's everyone's week been so far, man? It's been a rough week and a half for me, man. I was talking to LJ a little bit about it before going live. Lost a few people, man, and it's just when you lose someone, bro, it just puts everything back into perspective, especially when it's someone that just unexpectedly you lose.
Can I say something on that? Mm-hmm. And this is something that that subject I'm very passionate about. one of the life lessons that we don't learn, but we should, is that death is, it's a part of life. There's no getting around it. There's no, avoiding it. It all is going to happen to us at some point in time. The tragic is when it happens sooner than it should. But the lesson from death to the living is supposed to be this. You always hear people say, I wish I could have spent more time with that person. I wish I could have did this. Oh, we were supposed to go do that. We kept putting it off, but we didn't. And you hear this continuously over and over throughout time. It doesn't matter. So things like that we should take heed to, and especially when it comes to death. What it's saying is the people whom you really love and care about, rack up as many memories as possible while they're living so that they can live on once they pass. Because what happens is once they're gone, then all of a sudden you'll remember those times. You'll be like, oh, I forgot all about this. We did that. They said this. This happened. Things that you had forgotten about when they were alive. But you can't, that doesn't happen unless you have enough memories racked up to bury those memories until they're needed. And that's how people truly live on. And so the experience of death in life is to remind us of that. But what happens is we don't take heed to it. And then we go through the same thing that everyone else goes through by saying, oh, I wish I would have, man, I wish I would have, we were supposed to do this and we didn't get around to it, So that's and I've lost a lot of people,
yeah, man.
I've lost a lot of people. Most of the people I grew up with are gone, except for a few. And so that's the lesson I'm that concept. I'm gonna do a whole video on it on my channel, but that concept I'm a very firm believer in, and every chance I get when it comes to that, I'm gonna push that message.
Yeah, man, that's good words, man. Definitely, we always focus so much on crypto and other things, we forget that real life is happening for all of us. We all have things that we have to, deal with on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. And it just, for me, I feel like death just resets your appreciation for life. It does for me every time. But the problem is it fades, man. And you forget, like, it hits you hard. And if I got to just work on appreciating and continuing that thought and that feeling that after you lose a loved one, you got to continue that. You got to that spirit of like gratitude, right? Because you won't see that person again. At least, some people feel that way. Yeah. Right.
That's
you got to rack up those moments.
Mm-hmm. You rack up their moments so that when they're gone, that's what comes. All those memories start flooding back. Like, oh man, I remember. Yeah, we did it. But if you don't have that, it's like, dang, they're gone. They're gone.
Bro, I want to have a website of me on IPFS when I pass away. So now, like, if you ever miss me when I'm gone, you just visit my metahuman of me and be like, "Yo, what up, Pat?" I probably have some algorithm.
That's coming.
Hey, you know what? Hey, you can add here. This is what you add. £10. This is what you add to that. Start saying a bunch of stuff and cataloging it so that when those people go to log in, you'll have something different to say every time.
Yeah.
And it can be an algorithm that can just randomly, or they can have a subject. You know what I'm saying? And maybe, I wish I could talk to you, £10, about this new meta universe, man, that's going on, man. I ain't got nobody else to. And then all of a sudden, something will pop up well, you need to explore all the avenues.
Man. Hey, and the thing is, it's very doable.
Very
LJ,
doable.
because Trek can attest to this. It's the AI technology out there now able to simulate your own voice and train, you give them 10 minutes of your voice and it'll, spit it out in text, voice to text or text to voice back at you. We use technology like that. And it's going to be very possible.
You just want to make sure the computer speaks your voice, your thoughts, your responses, and not just some random can. And so that's why you'd have to put in enough stuff, enough data, so that the AI would literally be able to create what you would have.
It's coming. It's coming.
See, we know this tech. That's what I say about the disruptive technology. We know this tech. We know how to
called, I want everybody out there watching to go look up and do a Google search on Lambda. It's Google's open AI chat bot that they've been developing. And actually, it's funny because just last month, I think I may have touched on this on one of the live streams, but last month, one of the engineers actually came out, was basically a whistleblower. It's like, look, this AI Lambda is sentient. It has feelings. It has a conscience now. That's how far we are with this stuff. A lot of people don't realize that, but sorry to get all morbid with you guys today. Again, welcome to the show.
Yo, it is what it is, man. Also DALL-E 2 is now available for commercial purposes. Now people are just generating art with AI, and it looks like it's straight up human art. Like, it looks high quality, like incredible.
Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't know what it was, but okay. Drop that in the chat room for everybody to check that out for sure. 10 Pound, while we on you, where can they find you, bro?
Yeah, pretty much you're on my Twitter. I'm pretty much at TPS0011. That's pretty much my handle. And of course on Discord, you can find me at 150 #8888. And it's me.
Trek, what's going on with you, bro? Back from Minneapolis.
Yeah, it's actually Buffalo, Minnesota. That because it was outside of the city. Like, it's country.
Oh wow.
Country,
okay.
Country.
Okay.
It was.
Yeah, I was supposed to be there, but couldn't make it.
Yeah, it was definitely a vibe. We knew X amount of the people, but then there was a whole nother set of folks that was like a good connection and like what they doing within tech, within entrepreneurship, within trying to build out this or make their way in this Web3 thing. And it was a good vibe, bro. Like, I'm definitely already talking to some people on things, so we'll see how stuff work out over the next 36 months. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I was it's frustrating because I was literally involved in putting that together along with Yoga Boss and Janelle, aka Crypto, Bay, Jay, and Catherine from Storage. So we put a lot of hours in putting that together. So I'm glad it came together and it was informative. And what kind of crowd was there? And are they gonna? You probably don't know any details on whether or not they're gonna do another one soon.
I think that for the way the turnout was, and just how because the breakout sessions were definitely dope as far as informative. There were definitely little things that I learned in the ones that I had went to, and then just you talking, and then people were like, oh wow, because it wasn't all crypto blockchain people. It was some folks who had no actual they were totally new.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here because my friend is here, but it was folks from LA, Louisiana, who was from Pittsburgh, who was from New York, who was from it was folks from a couple of different places, kind of an invite thing. So it was under 30 of us, but just between going through the different sessions and then basically exchanging information. And it's all right, you're doing this. And there was a couple of people that I met who were actually local to Minneapolis. And I'm yeah, I definitely got to work to come back out here because it seems like they're doing some interesting stuff.
Yeah. So where can they find you, Trek?
Hey, it's just like it says, TREKKW2KS. It takes it to everything that's me, whether that be LinkedIn, even Discord, IG, Twitter, TikTok. It's all the same.
Nice. And then my man LJ, he talked, kind of kicked it off for tonight. Where can they find you, bro?
Man, just want to let everybody know my channel is live, so you can find me From a G Perspective. You can also find me on my Twitter right there, drlittlejohn. And then also have my Instagram, d.r.littlejohn137_.
All right, cool.
Hey, sub and check out my channel though, man.
Yeah, check out his channel, ladies and gents. He's been a contributor on my channel for a couple months now, along with Trek. I appreciate their content. and hope you guys are enjoying them as well. So tonight we are going to be kicking it off with, you know, one subject that, as you guys may have heard in the intro, that I don't like Solana. I don't like what they stand for, but I like the way they're executing on things. And it's just Trek, or maybe 10 Pound, maybe LJ, y'all can chime in on this. Do you know of any like Ethereum physical store, or what's another Litecoin physical store, or some other smart contract physical store anywhere? I don't.
Nah.
I've never, and I would think Ethereum would be the one to do something like this. And we're going to talk about this tonight. Ethereum, or I should say Solana, has just launched its first offline store in New York. And what do you guys feel? I want to get your feedback first on this. Trek, what's your thoughts on this? Is this a smart move by them, and what can really come of something like this, some type of brick and mortar business model for a blockchain, a smart contract blockchain?
So, oh man, so my first thought was like, I get the growth hack, I get the market thing that they're doing, but I'm also like, I don't know if that was a smart thing to do if all of the economic indicators show that we're in a recession, and you think you're gonna go get people to go spend money on non-practical things in like 24 months from now. If this store makes it past 2024, I'll be very surprised. Very surprised. Because
what do you think their ultimate goal is, though, with something, a venture like this? LJ's laughing.
Look, man, it once again, it's crypto, man, and the big portion of crypto is marketing. We've had some of the projects that turned out to be fails and flops, but had great marketing. Solana, they need to get the issues they have with their platform situated.
But see, this is what they do, though. This is how they dangle the carrot. They dangle the carrot in front of you with all this flashy stuff and get people's attention. This is that VC stuff. This is why I was like, you know what? I see how and why this is run and backed by huge VCs, because this is what they do. They know how to vertically integrate.
Well, you know what? And this is what makes it even worse, is that if this is the best thing you had, then I realize there's troubles down the way, or potential for trouble down the way. Because if this is the best thing that you could come up with, because this really is nothing. It doesn't contribute to the space in any way. I mean, yeah, a store, you're going to buy some merchandise, but we can already get all that.
10 Pound. Unmute for me.
Muted, bro.
Man, my apologies. So they're actually coming out with a smartphone. That's the main reason why they're doing this.
Right.
And that was all part of the nonsense as well. Your platform was having problems, and you want to come out with a smartphone. Okay, that's fine, but
is it nonsense though?
No, it's not. It's not.
I don't think so.
It's not.
Of course, it's not. If the phone works, but it's diverting me away from your original purpose, and not only on top of that, the fumbles that your purpose is continuously having that may or may not be being resolved, or may not get resolved. But that it just, to me, it's like your brain power is going other places, or at least the assumption that your brain power is going other places, and you're not dealing with the problem at hand.
Well, here's the thing, Lil John. The issue is that Solana is heavily centralized, right? And they need consumers to decentralize the network efficiently and actually solve a lot of these issues that they're currently dealing with due to its centralization and manipulation, pretty much, of the protocol. Somebody pretty much got liquidated for $100 million, pretty much. And Yeah, I think for the most part, having power concentrated in the hands of the people through a smartphone apparatus, where also the software is designed to be mobile friendly as well, just sort of makes sense for like the long term play of Solana. But with that being stated, there's some serious competition on the block when it comes to delegated proof of stake and proof of stake networks. And A16Z and Binance, bro, they're already like putting a ton of money up on Aptos at the moment. I think Aptos raised 300 million in Series A funding, and they're going to be a layer 1 proof of stake network that's going to rival Solana here soon. So like anything's possible.
I guess my question for the audience is: this something you should be bullish on Solana for, or is this something that is a non-event?
It's not okay. I'm 100% with 10 pound as far as the centralization issues. I think that someone was like, hey, let's try to use smartphones as a way to have better market penetration or community growth of our blockchain. Now, will they actually get market adoption for where it matters? I would argue the VCs would get tired of it within 12 months if they don't see certain numbers. So they're not even going to make 24 months. And the store, I haven't been to the store. I looked at where it is in New York City, and I'm just like, I'm still kind of like fumbling my head on how far in advance did y'all pay for the storefront? Because if I'm understanding stuff going on in this bigger economy as a recession is happening, how do y'all think people are going to pay for these phones? And even though they're saying like, oh, you could use the phone, the Solana token to buy stuff in the store and blah, blah, blah. Like when shit really start getting real out here, ain't nobody worrying about buying another Solana phone. Like, no, you trying to like deal with being a forced hand to pay your bills and stuff. Like, that's just how I look at it. Like, but I think it's also an experiment. I also think it is, I mean, the whole thing is an experiment. So it's like, let's try this revenue model as far as bringing out this phone thing. If the phone does...
It may be a situation where I know many bigger brands will do something that is directly not going to run in the black. So the stores may run in the red, but it should overall help their brand.
Yeah, like it's
brand awareness.
I don't get how one store in some remote location is going to really help a brand when the brand's technology is worldwide. The brand's technology is worldwide. So irregardless of how many people walk down that street, it's nowhere in comparison to how many people visit a website or visit a protocol.
How many people in New York City proper? New York City,
yeah,
about
how many people,
9 million or something like that.
Yeah.
7
how many
million?
of those people even know what crypto is?
A lot of them do, actually. You'd be surprised because the NFT NYC.
In comparison to the total, NYC, 10 pound. Come on, man. In comparison to the total people, there's only a small percentage of people in the world who really know what crypto is.
But
the thing is, the power elite know what crypto is, and that's what really matters, right? The people up in Billionaires Row, pretty much manipulating the candles, probably for the most part.
How many of those? Look, we got Warren Buffett's that still don't even, that call it. So, I mean, we got, once again, all of those people aren't even. Some of those people are going to be left on the other side of the divide.
Well, Warren Buffett sat down I believe, Justin Sun for a dinner.
That was like how long ago, bro?
Yeah, I remember.
He got bought.
Yeah, he did get bought. 100%.
He got bought. We can't count that one.
That didn't even work out, man.
That's not even worth mentioning there. But I guess I'm just wondering, like, I wonder if their Solana blockchain stores are probably going to be up longer than the actual blockchain.
I think they're
going to have more uptime. They're going to have more open time than the blockchain uptime.
They ought to coordinate that with when their chain is down, then the store is closed.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen because the chain probably powers the store. Samsung.
Think about how many people would show up
Samsung
at the
and
store
Apple.
every time they had every time the chain went down. Like, there's gonna be a bunch of unknowns that come out from this scenario. And I was thinking about it, like, arguably, you remember how Hyperledger was pushing their education thing? But like, if you read their early stuff and how they like downplayed Bitcoin, focused more on the protocol of blockchain, and then like didn't have any of the cypherpunk mentalities or mantras or anything in it. Like, they did this sterilization thing. I would argue, considering how centralized Solana is, they're probably going to have a similar scenario play out for how they're going to educate the masses. Like, that's just me and how I think of it because of how I see their centralization playing. And yeah, like the chain go down, think about how many people would show up to the store, be like, yo, y'all need to fix my thing, because they break down like what the in-store experiences would be. So it's like education, wallet onboarding, learning about. So where I'm gonna go when the chain goes down, because I seen it on Twitter, and then I can't buy this NFT thing, and I can't do some commerce thing, my phone start acting funky. What you think is gonna happen?
So with the phone, tell the audience about the phone a little bit more, 10 Pound. What is all encompassed with this Solana phone? And
I don't know. I don't got the phone. I just know that it's rumored to be launched and released at their storefront. Literally, they're going to be doing a grand unveiling of the technology, and it's going to be powered by the Solana blockchain. So
that's no good.
Now let us not forget. See, we seem to forget that this is not the first phone. This is not the first attempt at a phone.
No.
See, that's what we seen. There's this thing called the Pollyanna effect, which means that every 10 years, the people forget about what happened in the previous 10 to fall for the same things. And a lot of this stuff in the space,
less than that, right, Trey?
Long enough, you can pretty much take any of these things and say this is just a new twist on something that already has happened. Now, unless you're going to show me a different way you're going to go about it, or something else, what makes it any different?
Okay, so this is called the Saga. It's called literally a flagship Android phone for Web3, and apparently it's straight out of Solana Mobile, which is a subsidiary of Solana Labs, which launched the blockchain.
All word soup.
Right? Well, for the most part, it's just a smartphone that's going to be utilizing its own Solana mobile stack, which is actually built on top of Android. So
so it's not really necessarily a blockchain
phone. They didn't build from the ground up.
And it's not a block.
It's going to have a Solana app on an Android phone.
Well,
this sounds like a lot of VC reaching, bro. Sounds like a lot of reaching going on with stores and these apps.
It's too much.
Phones. But I think there's some magic here. There's something here with this blueprint. Like, I feel like you're going to start seeing other blockchains and organizations do this.
Yes.
And all this is giving them more. This is just giving them more wind to make it last a little bit longer.
So LJ, you're telling me, DR, so you're telling me Bitcoin doesn't need a brick and mortar store, huh?
I think Bitcoin could probably do better with a brick and mortar store.
I agree.
Yeah, people already have brick and mortar stores. And not only that, Bitcoin Pizza is a pretty big chain out in California, man. That pizza is so good. Bro, I wish I had one nearby, bro. I might as well open up a franchise, bro. Bitcoin Pizza. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. I'm telling you, that pizza is the best pizza. For real. I'm not even capping. Yo,
I'm at to find out, man. See, I'm at to check it out and get back at you.
Yeah, but the Saga, it's got a 7-inch OLED display, 12 gigabytes of RAM, and 512 gigabits of storage with the Snapdragon 8 Gen processor, which is like a GPU and a CPU put together. Like a really good phone, man. This is a really good phone, actually. But they want to charge $1,000 for this phone, which I mean isn't really that
trying to be Samsung.
Kind of. I mean,
So we got Reggie on online driving. He looks like he's racing over to the Solana headquarters to issue them a cease and desist. Reggie, what's going on, man?
Fading in and out. You're laughing, so I hear someone got jokes.
You know who it is already. You know how he be going.
I said Reggie. I said, here we got Reggie speeding over to the Solana blockchain headquarters to issue a cease and desist. We're talking about right now,
Fading in and
Reggie.
out, but I'm going over the Verrazano Bridge, so it's going to go in and out for a minute. But get about 3 minutes to be good.
He gone.
Bro, Verrazano Bridge is mad long. It's a long minute.
Oh man! So,
wow, every time we see him, man, he got his shirts is like half, like he's in the Bahamas somewhere. Or something,
yeah,
man.
that's Reggie for you. That's Reggie for you for sure. So we'll get his opinion on the whole Solana thing when he comes back in. But I want to move on to the next subject, which is about Tesla, man. Tesla sells $64 million. Well, they sell enough Bitcoin to profit $64 million from their holdings. And I actually remember, reporting on this a while back when we started to, hear about how these corporate publicly traded companies have to handle their cryptocurrencies. And so, we now see that they made $64 million, but they had to post a $170 million loss because of the way the SEC makes these companies report. They have to report at the lowest price within that span, which is very weird.
That whole tangible,
intangible
thing.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. So what do you guys feel about this? This is kind of in contrast to what we see with a micro strategy and just buy and hold and pray and hope that it's just going to be a higher price in the future. They seem to be Tesla, that is, more proactive in their Bitcoin holdings. I know LJ is going to have his rebuttal on that.
Look, you got to realize they're holding Dogecoin. So to me, that right there shows that I'm not so sure that they really understand, the reasons why a major corporation might hold some, digital assets.
Trek, what's your thought?
It's going to become the most pristine, collateral, that can be trusted. That's going to be neutral. That's not going to have any, government or any other agendas. And, it worked for Ukraine and Russia when they were at war with each other. And that's the best you can ask for in an exchange, especially in a digital age. Neutral.
Trek, your thoughts on this Elon Musk selling their Bitcoin in the green? Listen, I've never heard of a person losing selling in the profit, selling in the green. You can't lose.
So,
Trek, what's your thoughts?
I guess I'll be another one to kind of go back and forth with LJ about the Russia Ukraine situation and was it neutral? But that'll be another thing. As far as this Tesla thing, my thing is, and I'm not the person who initially started this particular point, is that them selling their position, and I say the same thing every time, when you are looking at people who are in a whole different operational environment because of the size of the company that they have, because of their political stance, because of the industry or the government position that they hold, their operational environment and their thought process is way, way different. So the use case values that LJ just mentioned, that's not the use case values to them. It's just not.
Well, I understand that, but they held their Dogecoin. They didn't sell their Dogecoin.
But you're still trying to assume that they're using the same type of use case value, bro. That's not. It's not how they're moving.
So them holding the Dogecoin, that has no relevance on them selling their Bitcoin. You chose. So for what
you're
matrix did you choose to sell your Bitcoin, and the Dogecoin didn't fall into that same matrix?
I'm just saying that you're assuming what their actual value use case is for these cryptocurrencies. That's what I'm saying. You're saying it sounds like you're assuming
so they hold that
evaluation for it.
So they hold that Dogecoin has more value use case.
I don't know what they hold. I don't know.
No, I wouldn't jump to that assumption. It's maybe that they felt like it was better to sell Bitcoin because it's less volatile than Dogecoin. Maybe they're in the deep red with Dogecoin. I don't know. I don't know their average cost.
And here's the other thing.
Go ahead, Trek.
Here's the other thing I want to point out. The car manufacturing company that is supposed to sell cars and is riding the wave of this whole new EV green stuff did not make money selling cars. Yet for another year, it made money because it made profit because it sold its crypto position. Like, that's the bigger thing to me. This whole thing of, they sold off, blah, blah. I don't really care about that part of it. Like, if you go off of the whole cypherpunk, like early day mantra thing, it wasn't even meant for the corporation stuff anyway. It was supposed to be about a people level thing. Mm-hmm. Bigger thing is they made money off of selling a position because they weren't making money on what they are as a business, a car manufacturer who collects a shit ton of data. Like, bigger thing to me is what's going on in the bigger economy, that was the smarter move for the people who count the numbers for them.
Right, because it seems as from the article, they play a very active role in their cash reserves, and they float things around and portfolio rotate within Tesla pretty often, unlike MicroStrategy. And that's what I have a problem with MicroStrategy. I think they're very, and you're gonna disagree with me, LJ. I think they're not being the best fiduciary for their shareholders by just buying. And not only buying it with cash, but with debt as well, buying Bitcoin. So, Reggie, what's your take on Tesla selling their Bitcoin and, they actually profited from it.
Still in the tunnel.
No,
he's still in that tunnel.
He in a bridge.
Yeah, I can hear you actually. Okay. You can hear me clearly now?
Okay. Yep.
It's a bridge, not a tunnel.
What's your take on Tesla selling that Bitcoin, man, and making $64 million?
They made $64 million. I mean, that's about the extent of it, right? Tesla is not a crypto company; they're a data company. And I think it was Trek said that they're a car manufacturer that makes taking lots of data. They're a data agency business that make cars and electric products. So everything they do thus far is to increase their data intake, and they have no competition in terms of their data collection strategies, except for possibly Google and Facebook. See, Google and Facebook collect a different set of data. Tesla's data collection is highly, highly specialized. Nobody has as many miles in terms of cameras, GPS, pedestrians, terrain, terrestrial obfuscate, what you call things that block the street, etc. I think, and I'm not saying Tesla is fairly valued, but the people who value Tesla stock are valuing it in comparison to GM, Ford, Daimler, Benz, etc. And they're in the wrong business. They're being bamboozled and hoodwinked, as your man Malcolm would say. So if you look at Tesla as a data company, they're simply collecting data. They bought Bitcoin, they sold it, they got the crypto guys heavy entwined in the business of Tesla. And I think it was a brilliant marketing move that cost them a negative.
Okay, so you think it was a marketing move why Tesla bought Bitcoin? 10 pound, do you agree?
Perhaps it was a marketing move, but I think for the most part, Bitcoin in itself is just like the mothership of this brand new asset class that we all know and most of you guys probably hate, but I definitely love. And now here's the thing, right? I think for the most part, Tesla is also a company that makes batteries and shingles for homes, right? They're totally integrating into the smart home industry and pretty much manufacturing batteries for you know different sorts of government organizations and whatnot all around the world. So yeah, it's not just the automotive thing as well. Like some people forget that like they've got a whole other sector of their business that
But
just
they
manufactures
didn't make money on
product.
the solar side
That,
either.
that's the
Yeah.
It was the
Well,
government funding that kept the company
yeah,
going.
get all that.
Yeah, I
Get
know.
all,
I
but
know.
you know what? You know what's the bigger take here is not so much that they sold, whether they sold Bitcoin or not, but the fact that you didn't make profits from your core business, or even the core business that you have. Everybody assumed that is your core business, you know, and so that the greater question would be, well, wait a minute, you're not making profits off your core business, then what are you making profits off, or what are you doing other than what you're telling me that you're doing? And that's part of the reason why.
But look, remember in the story they talked about this, and maybe Reggie can chime in on this. They had to report $170 million loss on the rest of their position. So really, that is a benefit for them, right, Reggie? In that quarter, that offset some of their other losses or gains, or how would that work?
You know, to be honest, you have to be inside on Tesla to understand what was going on. You know, when they do something, they do it for a strategic reason, a business reason, or financial reason. You know, speculating from the outside is fun, but it's useless. Like, suppose they needed an accounting loss to offset a tax gain. Suppose they just did it for marketing. You know, it's hard to speculate why they did something, but let's look at it this way. Tesla is, I think, 10 or 12 years old, 13 years old. And it is already economically much more profitable than every American car company.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking companies that were there from the beginning, like Ford. Ford didn't invent the car, but he invented mass production of the car. Okay, so Tesla is currently in a league of its own. And like the brother said, in my opinion, Tesla's a data. Everything they do, right, is to gather data. You said that they're selling batteries. Guarantee those batteries have metering chips that report power usage.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed. Well, I wouldn't guarantee it because I haven't looked at the battery. Chances are, let's put it that way. It's a better way of looking at it. Yeah. Right. Same thing with the solar panels, right? Everything they do is centric, or it should be.
I definitely think it was an accounting reason they sold.
Hey, well, look, this is what they said in the article.
Some of those. Mm-hmm.
This is what they said in the article. It says, Musk said in an earnings call last week that Tesla is open to buying Bitcoin in the future. It's just that we were concerned about overall liquidity for the company. So, you know, and that was something that he stated.
Wait. I thought he was talking about Bitcoin being too energy intensive for the planet. I thought that's what his scapegoat was.
Nah, he made this on an earnings call. He stated this on an earnings call.
I'm gonna still say the same thing.
The CIO, I think, or not the CIO, CFO.
Tesla Model X is Bitcoin. Think about how much energy it takes to create a Tesla in terms of smelting the steel, the aluminum, burning the tires, the rims,
way more,
making the chips. Right? Then driving the Tesla, that electricity is born from fossil fuels.
Yep.
Okay. Now I'm not getting into this conservative versus liberal debate and climate. I'm not going to get into that. But you know, going by what Elon says, Elon is a marketing salesperson. He's a CEO. His job is to be the chief manager and chief salesperson. So saying Elon said is like saying, well, the Fox reported in the hen house. You know, you can't just get words at face value. They have a job to do, and their job is not telling you.
Trek, what were you going to say?
She's executed multiple times. What?
Yes. I'm gonna add two things on this. The conversations that we have in here are not financial advice in any which way. We just some people who've been around the crypto space for a minute and like techie things, right? That's one. Then two is no AMA, which is Ask Me Anything, Fireside Chat, or segment of a what is it? Like stockholder meeting or public
earnings call.
earnings call is done under oath. They have to be confident when they make these public presentations to also give out sound bites. I'm gonna keep saying the same thing because everyone runs back to like, oh, well, they said blah 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 at the White House. Oh, well, they said blah 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 at this press conference. None of the shit is under oath.
So okay, let me just sum this one up. Is this bullish or bearish for Bitcoin, or it has no connection at all?
It's detached.
I think we've gotten desensitized towards anything that Elon really says for the most part, unless it's something really, really, pivotal.
Now we just said that they're one of the biggest data collectors, big data companies out there. Maybe they have some information in their data collecting that, the long-term trend for Bitcoin may be in. Who knows? This is all speculation. But,
so listen, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Don't let the SEC know. But I saw a Tesla Model X driving circles around his Bitcoin farm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you know what? On that note, seriously, man. I thought about this a little bit before when you said something, Reggie. Who remembers how? Like, I think what is that? Like 4 or 5 years ago, some of the Tesla drivers started gutting their cars in order to put rigs in it. It makes me wonder, considering how much data the vehicle collects, were they able to take note to like that change in energy consumption in the car? And the other second part of that, as far as the data thing is, if Tesla collects so much data, why is it when they put out the earnings statements, we can't readily identify where they're profiting off of the data?
Because they don't have to. The SEC doesn't require it. That's called confidential business information and trade secrets. To give you guys an inkling of how much data a Tesla should be collecting, has anybody ever used Google Earth or Google Maps?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Google Earth and Google Maps is a combination of a GPS system and cars that literally drive up and down streets all day with a camera. Those cars have less sensors than the EVs do. And look how accurate and up-to-date Google Maps and Google Drive and Google Earth. So you take that, you multiply it by Tesla does use LiDAR, if I'm not mistaken, but sonar, LiDAR, 8 cameras, high bandwidth, real-time data transfer. And if you think Google Maps and Google Earth is potentially invasive of your privacy, imagine what the Tesla cars can do.
You got to think the Tesla cars could be siping in on our cellular
conversation
data.
Bro, you connected to your Apple phone, and your Apple phones don't cut off now.
And so they would know, and then they could. So it would be like a net where they could literally jump from cell phones all around your car, other cars, and its information all around your car. So yeah, I could see where that data could accumulate very fast.
Yeah, no, that's major right there. I never thought of it in that sense.
But then it would seem like you also would be motivated to want to sell more cars, to put more data sensors out there on the streets.
They are motivated. They sell a lot of cars. Think about it. If the net went down, you could mesh network Tesla cars.
Facts.
Yeah, that's true.
And literally have a roving mesh network.
That's very true.
Very difficult to put down. You'd have to literally go and blow Tesla cars up. So, and
we can have Bitcoin nodes running in Teslas. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the Solana phones are for, right? The saga,
right. Right. Moving on to the next subject. Axie Infinity CEO moved millions of AXS tokens right before they announced the Ronin hack. Now, this sounds like insider trading to me. What do you guys feel about this whole situation? This news is just coming out, actually. The hack happened a few months ago, but Is this something that, and I want to talk to Reggie about this, you think this is something that the SEC should or does have purview over? Can they go after the Axie Infinity CEO for this, even though they're not established or they don't run in the United States? But I'm sure a lot of U.S. citizens.
Users. That's how it always goes.
Exactly.
Once you get one American-based user, it's a wrap.
Exactly. How do you feel about this situation with Axie Infinity CEO selling $3 million of funds or transferring them to Binance right before they announced the hack?
Well, I don't know he did that. So, what someone says he did can or cannot be very different from what he actually did. And as for whether the SEC can go after somebody, the SEC can go after anybody, which is part and parcel of their power. SEC going after you does the majority of the damage.
Exactly.
Now, for instance, you said it sounds like insider trading. I'm going to take the other side of that counterpoint. Insider trading of what?
They're AXS tokens.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to trade tokens inside. Here, you have a car, right? Let's suppose you drive a Ford Mustang, right? You know that Ford Mustang is due for an oil change. You ever change your oil for 12,000 miles? You suspect it might have the engine might lock up, but you sell it. You sell it at a 10% discount. Are you guilty of insider trading?
No, but in the case of Axie Infinity, I feel like it is an insider trader situation because they have information on a hack or a what do you want to call it? A compromise within their network, and they make an action or take an action on that before letting
it's based on intent. It's based on intent. Because what if I already had I had sales that I already had lined up, because I needed to pay some bills. So I already had that lined up that I was going to sell X amount on this day. So
what a coincidence.
Why not buy back in too?
I think the issue is you're implying their securities. Okay.
Hell yeah, they are. According to the SEC, everything is a security.
That is true. And according to Reggie, I'm the best looking flyest dude on earth. But that may not be the truth. Chances are it is, but there's a possibility it's not. Okay, so you can't always go by what somebody thinks. Sometimes you actually need a court of law to adjudicate these things.
Look, the company froze the assets of its users before they could react to the news. This is shady, people. Yeah, this is absolutely shady. We already know
it's shady. We already know it's shady, man.
I'm not going to argue it's not shady. I never said it wasn't shady. I'm just trying to get the vernacular correct. So if you're going to speculate, instead of saying insider trading, I think everybody in their mindset is implicitly giving the SEC too much power and jurisdiction it doesn't really deserve. Personally, agreed. Okay. True that. So you could say, it sounds like it was fraudulent, like they use Scientia or information that wasn't publicly available to profit, at the detriment of somebody else. Okay. Yeah. I'm not saying it's true, but, that definition fits. Insider trading is like, you selling your Ford because, you didn't change your oil, you make money off of it. So are you insider trading your Ford? Is your Mustang now a security? So
if you compare that to a Martha Stewart, it sounds very similar. She knew of XYZ occurring and took action on it before public knowledge.
Let's imagine this scenario. This scenario. I have a warehouse full of goods and it's insured. We have a break-in. I turn around and sell or liquidate some other assets from that company right before I disclose that we had a break-in and everything's gone.
Is it a public company? Is it traded on public?
It's a DAO. It's a DAO. It's a community. So here's the thing, right? These tokens are technically just energy. It's like you're trading, oil, right? As Reggie was alluding to, it's practically just, an asset that's digitally kept on an immutable permanent ledger in the sky, right? So like it's not really like you're trading a stock, right? At all. Like it's something that you can pretty much move, and the whole planet will know you moved it, but they can't really do anything about it because written by law in the code, because code is law, you have that ability to do that, right?
Well, Tim Pong, I don't know if you've been following. I don't know if you've been following this library versus SEC case, because they pretty much said everything is a coin. Even if the company didn't even create the token itself, it can still be considered a security. Like, Trek, what's your take on this whole Axie Infinity situation?
I mean, they ran the model until it couldn't work anymore, and it ran until somebody came in and was like, doink, and then they fell. And because of where they sit within the company, you know, I mean, I don't know how much of his like life worth was put into the company, but instant panic. You see what else is going on in the rest of the space, the other
look at his age. Look at his age. That tells a lot too.
No, it ain't even an age thing. It ain't even an age thing.
It does in some ways because it does in some ways because then he doesn't understand the ramifications to things that he may choose to do, good or bad.
No, we can't hold age against that.
Hold on. Asians look really young, but they might be old as hell, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why I'm on the bridge? I'm picking my son up who graduated from college, and I'm moving his stuff back to the house. He's 21. As a matter of fact, anybody who dealt, I'm gonna let you blow you up right now.
What's up, bro? Congratulations.
So anybody, he actually did a lot of customer service with Veritasium, during the ICO days. He's 21. Trust me, he better be familiar with the ramifications of his actions. And if he's not, and he gets busted, age is not an excuse. Okay? I'm 2.5 times his age, and it's no excuse for me. So, you can't use the age as an excuse. You can't.
You know more than him.
I know more than him.
You can't use ignorance as an excuse for breaking the law.
No, but there are scenarios that you've gone through, Reggie. There are scenarios that you've gone through that he hasn't gone through yet, and he may, when he goes through those, make the right choice. But then again, he may not have the experience to make the right choice, and could make mistakes. That doesn't mean that because if that's the case, and that's saying we never get better.
So let's walk this through. Let's bring it to its ultimate conclusion, right? He comes to a situation, a fork in the road, an inflection point, right? He's lacking the experience for him to confidently make the right decision. But he's a smart man. He picks up the phone and he calls somebody to advise him. He doesn't go and make a really new decision. It blows up in his face and he says, well, I'm only 21. I didn't know. So I'd lock him up for that. And I'm his father. Okay? So if he doesn't know what to do, no problem. I don't know what to do many times. So I find out what to do. I don't use my age, knowledge, or lack thereof as an excuse.
Yeah, I agree. I gotta agree with you on that one. Definitely can't use ignorance.
I agree on that, but at still the same token, that means that's like saying we don't grow. Because if that's the case, then we never make the same mistakes.
Would you say, Trey?
Or we never make any mistakes because we'd start out with the full pack, and then there would be nothing to add to it.
He won't make the mistakes his father made because I can advise him on those. All his mistakes have to be brand new.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
Like that's a part of it. But what I'm saying in regards to what's his name is the initial thing of fear sets in, right? If this gets out, the company is gonna crash. Like, you know what? Better yet, I'm gonna say it this way. I would argue right now there is a bank run on the crypto space, but we're not calling it that because it looks very different than traditional physical banks and how we understand banking and financing. And the thing is that the people who are higher up on the value chain, they saw the signals, they got the calls, they got the emails, they making their moves. What X amount of these like crypto related institutions and backers are worrying about is that when you have the panic within the retail side of it, because the retail level folks can be X amount of irrational. The up there folks, they're gonna hit you with lawsuits. They're gonna do everything they can on the legal side to like put you through the ringer. But the retail level folks is a whole different animal. I would argue that's what's going on. And I think that he probably thought that, like, all right, if I move out my amount of stuff, I'll have some level of installation.
Because I got to go move my son's stuff to the house.
All right,
man,
Reggie, thanks for joining in. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Appreciate
All
it.
right, Reggie.
You'll take care.
Yeah, man. So I guess, to sum it up, I guess my question to you guys is like, do you think there will be some legal ramification, whether you call it and label it insider trading or whatever, fraud or just straight grimy? Do you think that they will get in trouble? You think the CEO is going to get in trouble from this? I personally don't think so. That's the crazy part. I don't think he will be in trouble for this action at all when we can clearly see it's premeditated.
2025, he's going to have a new company.
Yep.
Like, this is going to be what helps bring, and I'm not saying this as a, oh, yay, more regulation. I'm saying this will help bring in more encroachment and stabilization of the play to earn space, the gaming space, blockchain-based gaming companies. This is one of those things. It's not going to be the absolute, but as far as like legal proceedings go, it's always about building that trail, right? This is going to be one of those things. I don't know how they will go after him over here on the U.S. side, or it might be something over there for where like he's located at. He's
in Singapore, right? No, where's Axie Infinity? I can't remember.
I don't remember neither.
Well, considering that it's only $3 million, no telling, man. That's not in the crypto space for our scam wise. That's not a lot of money.
It's not a lot.
Yeah, but we've had people, i.e., Reggie, be in trouble for less.
Well, Reggie's a black man in America. Okay.
Oh, so dang! I forgot.
That's a whole
good point. I totally forgot about that.
Cap on that one.
I didn't want to even pull the race card, but thanks for pulling it for me, 10 pound.
Hey, bro, it is what it is, man. When you're outside of the country, man, like it's a lot easier to get away with a heist, like for real. So I mean, bro, people do flash loan attacks and manipulate smart contracts all the time in this space.
I was just reading about one in Solana. Solana had one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, speaking of crypto companies in trouble, Coinflex announces significant layoffs amid $84 million dispute with Bitcoin Jesus. This is so crazy. This is an interesting story, bro. Like, I can't believe, first of all, they gave this guy, Roger Ver, a position with no margin call. They allow him to just trade as much as he wanted, be in the red as much as he wanted, and they wouldn't close and do a margin call on any of his trades. What kind of...
Think about how big, like, he's considered X amount of a whale. Like,
yeah, but I guess the question is,
still stupid.
Was it in exchange for marketing? Like, I didn't never see Bitcoin Jesus on. It had to have been something, bro. It just doesn't make any sense. That sounds like an asymmetric situation.
You need to have a liquidation price, period. And like the terms need to be like substantially final once that liquidation point is reached, right? Like there's no way somebody would just straight up give you the ability to run wild with the books, and run up a huge debt. Man, that sounds like some bullshit to me.
And you see what he's saying? You see him, he's reversing it. He's saying that they owe me money.
Yeah.
That was smart, bro. Because look at that. Now you publicly diffused it. So now it's like, we can't even say nothing until we
But Bitcoin Jesus, after that tweet, per his advisors or lawyers, he stopped communicating about the subject.
Right.
So I don't know what happened behind closed doors as to why he stopped talking about it after that tweet that you guys just saw, but he no longer talked about it after tweeting out that no, actually, they owe me money, which we all know.
You go silent, and then what? Now it's just up in the air. It's like, wait a minute, like, what does he mean? They owe him money. How do they owe him money? Mm-hmm. And speculation runs wild. Why? Because most people aren't going to fucking actually look for the court documents that are being filed to find out what the actual details are. That's like just the other day. I heard somebody say, I heard this in Minnesota. Oh, Reggie got arrested. And I was like, no, that's not true. Reggie never got arrested. But you see what I'm saying? Like,
man, hey, listen, all we got to do is play the telephone game. We can literally just get in the circle of 4 of us. And I started off with one story. By the time it gets back to me from 10 Pound, 10 Pound going to really put some stank on it. That story is a whole different situation by the time it gets back to me. So it is easy for any of these stories to get just conflated, just blown out of proportion, whatever the case may be. I'm just wondering, who has the real side of the story on this? I mean, it's always, it's 3 sides, right? The truth, Bitcoin Jesus, and Coinflex. I don't know, man. But again,
I think he worked them, man. I think he realized that they gonna give me this money without, okay.
Nah, I know. Those employees over at Coinflex gonna go to hell though, cause I know they mad at Jesus for that one. They like, Jesus, you're the reason why I'm getting laid off.
Again,
this ain't no good.
I'm still calling it. We're experiencing a crypto bank run, but we're not calling it that. It looks different. Like,
yeah, it's a bank run. No, it is, because it's rehypothecated funds, or it's all these centralized exchanges essentially did the same thing that banks do, which is fractionally reserve, right? They're running a fractional reserve system.
There's that part of it, but what I'm saying is why it looks different in the crypto space is because compared to traditional banks, you don't have the transparency and disclosure of just let me look at a blockchain explorer and see what's going on in real time of the different transactions between whatever blockchain ecosystem you're dealing with, and then when you cross it into another blockchain. Now, granted, there are certain things that are very opaque for how some of this money has been moving on the back end, but for the things on chain, that's real time versus traditional banking. When it happens, it can happen over a weekend and we won't know nothing until a Monday or a Wednesday when they decide to go, oh, it's a bank holiday. This joint is always somebody watching a blockchain address. So once things start moving at a certain pace, it's like, oh, I argue this is actually a crypto run happening, and these exchanges and people like Coinflex have been actually trying to throttle it from growing, and that's a part of the contagion issue.
Yeah, so do you guys feel like we're kind of done with, we're bottoming out in the crypto markets, a lot of this contagion? You think it's still more to come, Trek?
I think there's more to come.
There's
really?
More to come. I think there's more to come. I think
the big ones are out of the way.
Yeah, I think the big ones for the most part are out of the way, but I also think once again, it just goes back to, these are just the next levels of BitConnects and all the other scams that we've had over the space of this tech, man.
Now, would you call this a scam, though?
Look, I don't.
BitConnect.
Not all of the projects were scams, but let's say a lot of projects may have started out with good intentions, and because the money was so free, flowing so freely, they got into areas that they shouldn't have gotten into.
Mm-hmm.
And so
money was flowing and money was cheap, right?
Thanks to the Federal Reserve. All of these, these are, were legitimate businesses initially, and then it just got, the Hollywood effect, got in. You got around all these people, and champagne was flowing, and all this, the hype, and you're the man, and you're going to the top of the world, and what I'm saying. And the next thing you know, you didn't, you taking something you shouldn't be taking.
Right.
It still boils down to, it's all an experimentation in revenue models. Yeah. X amount of these revenue models are not sustainable. It doesn't mean it's a scam. Yes, there are definitely scams. Yes, there are definitely Ponzi's, but this is a whole new way of testing out revenue models based on a new technology. And yeah, that Hollywood effect of, oh, the money's flowing, everybody, yay, everything is all good today. And then you on that like, oh man, it was all good just a week ago. Right? As far as, I forgot the point that I was going on. That was another point that I want to make before the revenue model point. But
Well,
anyway.
another one bites the dust. Zipmex. Never even heard of Zipmex. Too close to BitMEX for me.
Right.
That's where they messed up in the first place.
Bro, that looks,
Zipmex.
man, that looks like they're selling zips, man. Like they're selling O's by the pound, bro.
Oh man, Zipmex, ladies and gentlemen, filed for bankruptcy. So they're out of Singapore, and yeah, it's another one bites the dust again. You know, we had a lot of these organizations over levered, as you guys stated, and they just got ahead of themselves when the markets turned around and went down very aggressive. It's not, to me, and you know, I hear people say this in the traditional TradFi world as well. It's not how much it goes down, but how fast. When you have moves that happen that fast, it catches everybody off guard. And I think that's what we had to happen in the crypto markets.
Flash crash.
Yeah, now they're saying that while Terra's anchor protocol numbers are allegedly ramped up via insider trading, we will have more on these stories soon. I don't know what that's how that has any relation to Zipmex, but Zipmex is out of here. I went to their website. They got a decent site. It don't look too bad, but hey, anybody can make a good site nowadays, I guess.
Bro, what's with these Z's, man? Like, I swear, like, it's something weird going on with these people with Z's in their names, with their businesses, and also just like the guy who created like 3 Arrows Capital, 3AC. Dude is straight up an international fugitive right now, living on a $50 million yacht.
Oh, so he is on the run.
Yeah.
I thought that I thought that was just for a second, a brief moment, and he came back. So he's on the run, huh?
Yeah, he is.
So he's gonna be a McAfee.
I was just about to say it. Just about to say it.
Hey, I miss old McAfee, man. I miss his exploits, man.
Man, he was supposed to eat his dick, y'all, and he just never manned up to it, bro. He was supposed to do it. I was very upset at McAfee when he didn't follow through.
Commit suicide, huh?
Hey, I guess so.
I'd rather commit suicide than make that bet, huh?
I guess so. But yeah, McAfee definitely missed, man. He was a character. But you know what? He pushed the envelope, Trek, and I think we don't have that anymore. We don't have people out there openly saying, I'm not F the SEC, F the IRS, and, you know, crypto is for, you know, detachment of the traditional system and XYZ. We don't have that anymore. You know, and I was talking.
You got to be like North Korea or somebody. You got to be one of them to do that.
I guess. And speaking of North Korea, Trek, I found out from the interview that I did with Blue Moon. I don't know if you saw that one. We talked about the Harmony One hack, and she said they traced it back to North Korea. I said, oh, great. You know,
which is interesting because I just seen something about I think they dropped the One token or something, or they dropped some wallets that they're not messing with anymore.
Who isn't?
Harmony dropped some wallets, which I don't know how that's playing out.
Oh, I see that. Okay, so they blacklisted some wallets. Okay.
Yeah, like
they've got a plan. Harmony One's got a plan they've got a proposal, I should say, to repay the hacked victims. You know, they want to print 4 billion tokens over 3 years to repay them.
Woo!
Bad move. Bad move.
For sure.
Bad move.
You set yourself up for a whole situation, and you over here in the States?
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
I think they over here.
Oh, man.
You set yourself up for a whole bunch of doorknobs and shoulder taps.
Yeah, so they're in Singapore and in the States.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, speaking of other cryptocurrency projects and hacks, we all know, or maybe most of you should know about what Ethereum Classic was. It was born out of the DAO hack that occurred on the original Ethereum chain that we know as Ethereum today. But it looks like the price of Ethereum Classic has soared 3x in the same span of time that Bitcoin, or I should say Ethereum, is going up 50%. So what is all the hype about? Well, it looks like your boy Vitalik Buterin put out a tweet saying, hey, if you don't like the move to proof of stake, then I suggest you go cop some Ethereum Classic, who is still proof of work. What do you guys feel about, first of all, how do you feel about proof of work versus proof of stake? Which is more sustainable? Which direction are we going? I mean, we see the direction we're going. Most coins today are some derivative or variation of proof of stake. So clearly the industry is picking. But how do you guys feel about Ethereum Classic staying POS? And is there room for them? They've gone up 3x in the last, I think, 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, you talking about Ethereum Classic staying proof of work, not proof of stake. That's what.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh,
proof
no
of
worries,
work.
man. Yeah,
Yep.
we good. I think ETC is the real ETH, but yeah, but I also like how ETH is right now, even though it's obviously just a complete sham. But yeah, I just like smart contracts really, and preferred. I would literally use Polygon or Avalanche, man, like because it's still using like Web3 libraries, Ethers.js libraries, and everything else in between. So like, yeah, man, like ultimately, I just think the tech is incredible, regardless of the politics and like the manipulation of the VCs. Like the tech is just sick. So, yeah, but still, ultimately, I think proof of stake definitely more sustainable than proof of work, but yeah, not so much decentralized though.
So are you a fan of ETC? And do you think that it has a future, or you think this pump was just because of what
Yeah,
Vitalik said?
bro, I think the miners are headed over to ETC.
Really? You don't think they're going to fork?
Yeah.
You don't,
Oh,
I
well,
think
there
they're
is going
going
to be a fork. Yeah, there's going to be a
Okay.
fork as well. So there's going to be like ETH1 Classic. I don't know. Some guy, he's like an LP, an angel investor. He's going to launch the coin. He's just going to completely fork it. And some people think that it's just the floor is just gonna bottom out on it. Nobody's gonna support it. But Ethereum Classic has legacy. It's been around for a very long time. It's not just hey, look, I'm forking the state data. Like it's completely
Longest
different
chain.
thing.
The
Yeah.
longest chain.
Yeah.
It's funny. We see ETH Classic possibly having a resurgence. I do agree with 10 pound that that's the original ETH. Technically, I don't like the fact that you start interfering with chains and you start rewriting stuff or reversing things, and that goes against the whole premise. I don't know where ETH Classic will go. There are some people that are saying they're going to invest money in developing it. I think it'll be around for a while. I don't know about the new ETH, where it will be. It still has a lot of challenges, and it has rivals that are nipping at its heels. Like 10 pound said, Polygon and Avalanche and those different ones. As far as proof of work and proof of stake, I think that a lot of new projects are going to go the proof of stake. I don't think they'll ever be a proof of work as strong as Bitcoin. And I think that proof of work will remain. Once again, I think that'll be the collateral that people trust above any other collateral. We won't have to have any third parties that dictate, the validity of something, or even the susceptibility of, some coverted intervention. That doesn't mean that other things won't exist for whether short periods of time or long periods of time, or we'll have short use cases or longer use cases. This tech is here. The tech is not going back in the bottle, and like Trek said,
you got another Bitcoin maxi on deck. Jojo Wave said Ethereum is already dead. It's just going to take the market time to realize it. Bitcoin is the only way. Yahweh, Bitcoin.
Well, I mean, like I said, I believe crypto, just the space is a laboratory, and I believe people should have the freedom to try out any harebrained ideal that they, it comes to their mind. And so I see crypto as that, that freedom to experiment, You know, now as to whether those experiments turn out, that's a whole nother, you know, but in the meantime, we've got something that we know has a network that can be trusted. We can
So
trust that.
Trek, do you think that in the scenario when ETH2 comes out, rolls out proof of stake, and you're gonna have a lot of angry miners, a lot of guys been making millions of dollars for some years, you know, mining Ethereum as proof of stake or proof of work, I should say. Do you think when that time comes, are they gonna fork into their own and stay proof of stake, or I should say proof of work, or will they go jump on to Ethereum Classics bandwagon?
All right. So before I jump into that, I just want to say RIP to Nichelle Nicholas, who is Lieutenant Uhuru on Star Trek. Like, she passed today.
Oh man, Bill Russell passed today as well, 88
Right.
years old.
Everybody, it's a
Rest
lot of
in peace to
80s.
him.
It's a lot of 80 numbers. I just seen a thing on Twitter and I was just like, wait, what? But yeah, so condolences and positive energies and vibes and, you know, remembrance and all that to her and her line and lineage of folks. As far as this thing with the ETH Classic and the current ETH, or like the one that everybody knows and uses now, I mean, I'm not heavy on the miner side of it, right? But I would think that if you understand how the proof of stake puts in a financial burden in a different sense in comparison to the hardware and the technical understanding that are work as friction points, right? Because proof of work is an upfront cost versus arguably proof of stake being, if you have the access to dumb cheap money, what are you really sacrificing? And like my bigger thing, honestly, is on the user end of it, the stuff that's being promised is not gonna make what's being promised. Like the gas fees ain't gonna go down like they're talking about, and then there's still
No, it's not.
But the gas fees already bottom barrel right now. Like, bro, I literally minted 1,000 NFTs for $15 on mainnet.
Yeah, that's because ain't nobody
I seen your
using.
joint, and I was like, wait, is that right? 0.01 is $17 right now?
Ain't no real activity on the chain right now.
It's like an album, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying, like, Ethereum's activity, on-chain activity, dropped dramatically. I think, like, for DeFi, it dropped 80% over the last couple of months.
Well,
so
but the money is still there. That's the thing.
Yeah, it is. That's the allure. The honeypot of all the money sloshing around from the early days of wealth generation in the crypto space is still there in Ethereum. That's why they are still the winner, in my opinion. Will they hold on to that? I don't know. I say no. If they can't get this merged together and successfully rolled out, what's the new date? They got a new date now. What is it?
They give it a quarter. They don't give you a month. Hard dates done.
Yeah, apparently they're ahead of schedule though. That's the thing.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, I'm not sure though. For the most part, I just know that you know, a lot of these other early projects that are pretty much built on Ethereum, in mind with Ethereum and with its core principles, they have their own proof of stake side chains already that are bridged on to Ethereum as well. So not to mention what's going on with layer 0 right now, which is like the consensus layer for like all smart contracts to be interoperable across like a bunch of different EVMs. So like really it just comes down to people using whatever ledger they want to use, really. And Ethereum could just straight up be like, you know, just the security. Just, oh hey, you got 32 ETH staked down. All right, thanks for securing my transaction back home.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I just don't think it's going to be retail level friendly. Let's say it that way.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's human nature for us. I think it's human nature and how game theory is going to play out with this scenario. They're going to fork, in my opinion, and create a whole nother, like you said, ETH1 or ETH, whatever you want to call it. and that's going to be still proof of work. People are not going to go from Ethereum over to Ethereum Classic to pump other people's bags. They rather start from scratch. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what's going to happen, but we'll see. Who knows? Last article for today, Off the Chain, episode 83. We've got Ripple versus the SEC, and it's taking another turn, another can-kicking situation, it seems like to me. Now we got a third party jumping back in the mix, and it is MoneyGram. They are filing an unopposed motion to seal a few lines from a deposition transcript, I should say, of an officer of MoneyGram containing non-public information related to MoneyGram's business strategies and operations. It kind of goes to what Reggie said earlier, Trek, about, hey, that's information Tesla has that isn't public. You know, some things are proprietary, and we can only speculate on what MoneyGram wants redacted here. I have no clue. Maybe if you guys have an imaginary mind, you can shoot something out there.
I'd sure like to know, though.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. But how do you guys feel about overall this SEC versus Ripple case? You know, a lot of people are really banking on this case to really set a precedent. You know, you got a lot of Ripple fans that are excited and think, oh, we're going to win. And it's like every other week is up or down, is up and down. You know, I'm not a fan of Ripple. I don't know about you guys.
I'm not a fan of Ripple either.
Yeah, any organization that's attempting to help the banking system is the antithesis to what we should be about in this crypto life.
This puts us in a conundrum because we don't, you know, a lot of us don't, aren't in favor of XRP or Ripple, but I mean, it's like we don't like the SEC or just government,
right? Which is worse.
You know, which is worse. You know, so
which
it's
is
like
worse.
Puts it in a conundrum. You know.
Yeah, Trek. Caught you right in the middle of a
just
goal.
as I was about to sip. All right, so, I heard somebody say the other day, like, the longer it goes out, the more of a chance it means that the SEC is having a harder time trying to pin down the argument of Ripple being their definition of a security. I always tend to come back to the same issue about how the SEC uses the use case argument versus, use case argument in ignorance of the technology. That's my biggest issue with how the SEC is viewing the space. And I 100% understand why a government agency would work that way. Because why would I look to go based off of the technology if I can't control the technology, but I have a track record of making the argument about use case, no matter what the underlying tech stuff is, and I always get my way based on that argument. So in regards to this whole scenario, I'm not 100% certain on the MoneyGram part of it. Like, this is another issue that I have that I'm like starting to see more in the space. Inherently, blockchains are transparent, but the business and the people and how these things operate behind the scenes are far from. And I think this whole contagion situation is showing us more and more that even though a project might argue to be DeFi or be quote for the people, it doesn't mean that's what they're doing on the back end. It doesn't mean that there isn't some level of control on it. As far as the thing with the SEC and the SEC, like in the bigger picture, we hope that the result on this, and I think that the longer they drag it out, it's going to be the SEC who's going to have to take some L's on, like, all right, we couldn't pin them down in like 6 months. All right, we can't pin them down in 9 months.
I think it's the opposite. I think the SEC has an unlimited budget, so they can drain. I mean, and I know XRP, or I should say Ripple, has spent gobs of money. I think I recall a number is in the 20 million range or something far.
But here's the issue, though. Here's the issue that they got to deal with. You're going to try to do what? 12 months, 15 months, 24 months. This financial setup is not the same as traditional finance, because you got to remember the Ripple army is real. So they're going to keep going on and being publicly like blurting out the whole thing of like, yo, how is it that y'all are trying to persecute this company for over 12 months? If your case was really solid, you should have been able to wrap this up in a year. If you pass in a year, you're going into like month 18, month 20. Now it starts to look like you really have a thing focused on this particular company. And then it goes into the argument of you weren't being fair in your application of the law or of policy.
I think, unfortunately, we're going to get either a couple steps forward or 8 steps back from this case, library versus SEC. I think, and this is
this one is actually more
wrapping up.
to me.
Yeah, this is more concerning and more of an importance on my radar than even the Ripple one, because I don't see this damn Ripple thing ending anytime soon. No resolution for maybe another 12 months or even more, possibly. But I think the library one will be wrapping up soon. Now, Tony Rafido says that why isn't the Solana lawsuit bigger news? I haven't heard about the Solana lawsuit. Any of you?
Same here. I haven't heard about it.
Is it an SEC lawsuit or is it private?
I'm not sure.
Is it civil or criminal?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
we'll have to see. Maybe Tony, can you chime in on that? That would be great. So 10 Pound, what's your thoughts on this whole, Ripple versus SEC and now MoneyGram involved? I think Voice Crypto said he feels like MoneyGram was probably getting some free bags from XRP and dumping it on retail. That's without a doubt. You already know that. Yeah. XRP was known for, selling their own coins to, promote and do marketing campaigns. So that's definitely
right.
That's what the lawsuit's all about. Pretty much selling
that is true.
Securities.
That is true.
I've been here for the saga the entire time, bro. And honestly, I don't care about the banking system, like the traditional banking system. And, I'm glad I can operate the way I operate right now on chain. I think it's an ode to, transparency and money's sake, right? And the fact that, I've been able to, pretty much.
Wow. So Tony is right, bro. This is out of Forbes.
I'm looking at that on Forbes.
This is crazy. I never heard. And so here we go. We can put our tinfoil hat on. Why haven't we heard anything about this? We know that the crypto media outlets are controlled by a concentrated group of individuals.
Hey, but you know what it says
VC buddies. Yeah. Go ahead.
It says a class action lawsuit has been filed against Solana Labs, a for-profit company working on the development of Solana blockchain, in a California federal court last week, accusing the company and people within the ecosystem of making illegal profits and promoting its token, SOL, as an unregistered security.
Okay, so this isn't an SEC.
Down. Yo,
what'd you say?
The store's closed.
Store's closed down. Grand opening, grand closing.
Closed down.
Grand opening, grand closing. Yep, easy. No, so you know what this does though? We've seen it so many times before. We've seen the lawsuits come from a civil private arena first, and then it's like ring, you know what I'm saying? Like Splinter Cell, and it gets the attention of the SEC, and then they come right behind them and does their investigation.
And was like, oh, y'all got some money over there. Hey, what's the joint that King and Zayn be doing with the Tony Montana joint off of what you call it? He's like, if there's a nickel dime being sold in the park, I want my cut. That's what this is. Oh, you got a storefront now? Y'all about to launch a phone?
Man, SEC boy, they are something else, man.
Well, that's their way of proving that you've got a U.S. customers. So now the argument is, you got somebody coming out saying that I was a U.S. customer and that you cheated me,
Hey man, I always say this, ladies and gentlemen. You're without a shadow of a doubt. You want to know if you're in a bear or bull market in the crypto space. When you start seeing the lawsuits roll through, you're in the bear market. Ain't nobody suing nobody when you're up. You know, you're up
Everybody
10x,
all good.
20x, 50x. But when that bag gets chopped in half is when the lawyers start getting called. I tell you, boy. So, yeah, that's something we'll have to pay attention to. Thanks, Tony, for bringing that to our attention. I had no clue about this. It isn't an SEC lawsuit, but there is a group, a class action lawsuit that alleges that Solana is a security. It is. I mean, if we go by what the SEC is saying, and I want you guys to go look at the library versus SEC case, because it sent chills through my spine. Like, I can't believe they literally said, so what? It's a utility. If even a fraction of the people are there for profit, it's a security to them. I mean,
this goes back to my issue that me and you always have, but you'd be like, oh no, if like everybody using it this way. I'm like, no, everybody's not using it this way. Why do we I understand this idea of we have to distinguish and label things, but it is ignorant of the technology. That is my biggest issue about the use case argument.
Mm-hmm.
My use case does not have to be your use case because the technology allows me to use it in a different manner. But what they're trying to do is make it fit in a box based on use case and not broaden the box or redefine the box based on technology. It's a smart tactic from a government standpoint, but it's still an issue of you don't stop the tech.
Yeah, well, I agree with you on that, but I think as far as on that Libra, I'm gonna have to go through it all, but I think they'll be able to use the SEC's precedent on their definition of the Howey test to probably work against them.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know,
well, that's it, man. That's all I have for today, ladies and gents. Please hit that thumbs up, get those likes up. We definitely want to get that feedback from you guys on this. Tony says, yeah, not an SEC lawsuit, but big banks could latch on to anything other than 100% win and run with it in bigger courts. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, that's
well, once again, we can't be disillusioned and to believe that we're not going to have opposition, man. I don't know why people assume that, and
we haven't really had an attack on crypto like that here in the United States yet.
We've had consistent attacks. Like for example, we still have the site of how many times Bitcoin has died.
No, I'm talking about real. I'm talking about real attacks, though. I'm talking about
nations saying you're illegal. You know what I'm saying?
Not the posturing stuff. I'm talking about Coinbase shut down. You can't operate in the United States anymore. Binance USA, you can't operate in the United States anymore. Kraken, you can't. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Like, we literally wouldn't have an on ramp to crypto. That's an attack.
Yeah, facts.
Arguably.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they're shutting everything down, but that doesn't stop. It doesn't stop the tech.
It doesn't stop the tech, but it stops you from copying it, from using it.
If you don't know the other ways, like, yeah, it do.
Nah, it does, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. It does. I mean, think about it. If the SEC or whatever governmental agency said tomorrow that you can no longer purchase Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency here in the United States, it's over.
I get what you're trying to say, but what I'm trying to say, and I think what Trek is probably trying to say, is that the world realizes, not everybody, but enough people in the world realizes that we have to have an alternative, and enough people in the world understand that this alternative is tech. And irregardless of whether they attempt to shut it down, technology is here to stay, and people communicating, whether through different forms of value across the seas and to other parts of the world, that's not going anywhere.
Now it's all about timing, and the probability of that happening is very low. I'm just saying, but at today's where we are right now, if they decided to turn on a pivot, 180-degree change, they could really do a major blow to crypto. at this
Definitely.
time. We're not big enough. We're not big enough and saturated enough to say we're impervious to that.
Facts.
No,
I agree
how long would
100%.
that last, though? What, 24 hours, 48 hours, maybe a week? Like,
what's that?
How long would that last? Like, what if the U.S. turned around and said, "Hey, we're going to not do blah blah blah. Crypto is illegal," and do you realize how many companies would exit out of here? How much money that is put into those companies would be like, whoop, we gone. Like, I just finished this sci-fi book called The Dark Forest, and it follows along this idea of if you're in a forest and you don't know what the other things are in the forest. So when you come across something, you're either going to have to really assess it to see is it malevolent or the other thing. And you ask, well, if it's dangerous, instantly kill it or try to reason it out. In this scenario of if the U.S. turned around and did that, it's too many other things in the quote global dark forest. And there's not everybody on the same, like we're not in the same level of geopolitical dominance that we were in the 90s and the 2000s. So if we turned around and did some dumb shit like that, like, bruh, you think we behind now on tech and like we're losing the position as far as the global financing dominant position? Like, man, listen, we would go way too far down, bro. That and too many of the money people would look to find the other jurisdictions, aka countries, that would be friendly to them. We already have that happening now, but if the U.S. turned around and did some dumb shit like that, it would accelerate beyond belief.
No, I don't think they will. I'm just, just speaking.
Well, I agree with that. Definitely. I agree.
What you over there doing, man? You ain't getting your McAfee on, are you, 10 pound? Got a little white, got a little powder on your nose there, big fella. Wipe your face, man. Wipe your face, big fella. Wipe your face.
No way, bro.
Beat your face, soldier. Beat your face. Beat your face, soldier. Beat your face.
Nah, man. Honestly, I was just like moving some cables around. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they all say. Moving some cables around. I'm gonna have to use that one. Yeah,
I'm literally in my recording studio.
Officer pulled me over like, sir, you were speeding. You were over 20 miles over the speed limit. I was just moving some cables around, officer. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Well, that's pretty much it. I appreciate all of you guys coming on this evening. Where can they find you, Mr. Little John? Triple OG.
Man, go subscribe to my channel From a G Perspective. From a G Perspective. You can also find me on Instagram, d.r.littlejohn137 _. And you can also find me on Twitter, Dr. Littlejohn.
Trek, I know you got.
One more. I got a TikTok now. G Pops. G Pops. So it's GPOPS. I got this one video of my grandson. Y'all done seen them. The same grandkids that I've done the Bitcoin books with. My grandson, he pushes my granddaughter in the pool, and then he jumps in right after, and that's already got like damn near 90,000 views, man.
Oh, wow.
Check it out.
Right?
G-Pops. Wow. GPOPS.
Nice.
Trizek, I know you got something going on special right now. Right. What are you and 3D doing?
So me and 3D is actually going to do a live stream in about another hour. Basically, we're talking about what digital realty looks like in the metaverse. We're going to talk about the webinar that we're doing at the end of August on the 30th. You can find out the details on that on Eventbrite. If you go to my Twitter, profile, it should be tagged up on there for the link of it. It's like bit.ly / no code needed. And it takes you to the Eventbrite thing. And so, we're doing that. So in another hour, I'm going to be over on Twitter, doing a Twitter Spaces, talking about digital realty. And then the end of the month. And what we're doing is it's going to be a Twitter Space every Sunday until we have the actual webinar. And basically trying to put people on. If you, no cap, most folks aren't going to learn to code. Most folks are going to lose a shit ton of money if they even have the funds to be able to do trading in the metaverse space. If you're just looking at coins or trying to like, flip plots and stuff like that. But what we're talking about is other ways that you can make some gains. And we can't promise you nothing because we don't know what the future holds, and we don't know how you're actually going to follow through on using the information that we give you, which is all educational, by the way. It's not financial advice. But that's the basic idea. And yeah, we're doing another one. We're doing one webinar every month, breaking this stuff down. And it doesn't have to be a blockchain metaverse. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. Mm-hmm. The concept works in every metaverse.
All right. That sounds good. And my man, 10 Pound.
Hey,
let them know where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, so you can find me on Discord at 150#8888. Just add me as a friend. But also on Twitter at TPS0011.
Did he just change his profile pic?
Yeah, man. I changed my profile picture.
Did you just change it today? That looks like your attire you got on right now.
Yeah, I know, right? Kind of trippy. Nah, I changed that like a week ago. But yeah,
you got the same clothes on from a week ago? Bro, you are definitely in the metaverse.
He's a DJ.
Definitely in the metaverse.
Bro, man.
You are in there like swimwear.
Hey, in a minute, he gonna be coming to us from the metaverse. He ain't gonna have to step out.
Right.
Where my steppers at? It's your boy Crypto Blood. Make sure you guys go follow me, Crypto Blood _. I'm on TikTok now, Crypto Blood _. And please follow the real Slim Shady. Real Crypto Blood on Instagram. I got so many scammers. It's just Crypto Blood. I had so many people texting me earlier today and yesterday throughout the weekend. Like, is this you? Is this you? It's Crypto Blood.
Can I ask y'all this? Are y'all getting a bunch of people hitting y'all up saying, hey, I got X amount of USD on this wallet?
Yep. That's going on Twitter heavy right now.
Your seed phrases and the whole nine. I got like 50 of them, man.
I got them too. It's crazy.
The scamming is real. Be careful out there, ladies and gentlemen. For sure. Be careful. That's it, man. Y'all got anything else?
Man, like, yeah, that's it, bro. I'm dealing with my hands in a couple of things, but yeah.
Well,
I'll talk about that later.
I just want to bring up one thing.
For sure.
And that is what I talked about earlier, Aptos, which is another completely new layer 2 that literally all the biggest VCs, are all about right now. Their DevNet is live, testnet's going live, and then they're going to launch the mainnet by Q3, Q4. And I promise you, this token is
how do you spell that?
The top 10, not top 10, top 50.
How do you spell
APTOS? It might go to the top 10. It could possibly.
S.
APTOS. Yeah.
Aptos Labs, or what is it? I don't.
Well, you can look it up on CoinGecko or
on CoinGecko. Okay.
Yeah, that's the ticker.
Oh, that's the ticker. Okay, got you. CoinGecko. Let me just see if I can pull it up really quickly.
Yeah, there's no financial data on it at all. It's just like, pretty much you can see the accolades of who's involved in the rounds and the Series A and how much they've raised and what's going on with the protocol, and visit their website.
This nigga got us looking at coins that says preview only. How is that even possible?
Bro, I'm telling you, I got my
preview only on CoinGecko. Already listed on CoinGecko, but it's preview only. Okay.
Yeah. Read the description of it.
We got 1,600 people liking it.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is 10 Pound.
Read the description of it real quick, though. You keep scrolling past it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Aptos is a new independent high-performance POS Layer 1 project focused on delivering the safest and most scalable... Man, all I hear is a bunch of just filler words, man. Come on, man.
Bro, that's what Ethereum is, really. If you think about it, everything that they're describing
is a new decentralized, distributed blockchain layer 1, 2, 3, 4, autonomous DAO. You know, they just
Just cram
they
it all
just
in
pack
there.
all in there. LJ, they just cram it all in there. Oh.
Oh man. And you know how many times I get people that get at me that I know, like, hey man, you know, you heard about this, and we're just like, man, it's the same stuff, man. It's not, you know, the new Bitcoin.
But it's the money, people, the LPs, bro, that are financing this stuff and making sure that there's a new product for the next bull market. It's
so
like
basically it's only gonna last for 2-3 years, and then it's gonna be on to the next thing.
Yep.
I don't know, man.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know, bro.
Hey,
No, you don't know. We don't know either. You're right.
The money grab. It's the money grab, man. It's the money grab.
It's the money grab on the new wave that's gonna come in.
Okay, so before we leave, what's your prediction on the next wave in crypto? What's the next money grab? The last one was what you say it was NFTs? Was that like the last one? Okay.
It was NFTs.
Okay, so what's the next money grab do you guys foresee in the next bull run?
I've been saying that.
Trey. Carbon credits?
Carbon credits.
Carbon credits.
I'm talking about
but within I'm saying within
retail,
like crypto.
Would that be retail?
No, I'm saying like within blockchain
crypto.
though.
Yeah.
Really? How is that going?
Working on bringing in the carbon credit markets into the they're into the blockchain crypto space. Like
it's already here.
It's here, but it's not a
mainstream. It's
public
not the
thing.
hype, not the hype phase. Yeah.
That's because there's been a lot of hit pieces around NFTs saying that this whole system is the worst thing for the planet. It's just gonna, make global warming accelerate like 50 times, and also there's e-waste. It's all bullshit, right?
But then they're gonna do the switch, and it's gonna be like, oh well, it has to be an NFT carbon credit, and then that's gonna be the whole flip around. It's like, I'm seeing the same thing you see.
Underplay for the overplay.
Right
underplay
now,
for the overlay.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I think is going to cause the next ridiculous bull market to like completely bubble up. So I'm not sure if you guys are following what's going on with Polygon Matic, but they got this thing called the Edge protocol that will allow people to spin up their own little private virtual machines, Ethereum virtual machines, right? So like you can have your own chain pretty much, and then just start deploying applications, one click, no coding necessary. Hey, come over to my chain, trade with my token, right? Bridge over your Ethereum, bridge over your Bitcoin, and come on, man, let's have a party. Let's conduct business. And not only that, there'll probably be private transactions as well, for these sort of little silos of information, practically subnets, if you will, of blockchains. I think that, along with decentralized society, DSOC, and soul-bound tokens, that's going to cause the next major catalyst of the Ethereum virtual machine ecosystem to see a lot more traffic, volume, and of course more people to flood in and get the party raging again. That's just my perspective. That's what I'm seeing.
A lot of people, I've seen two people say decentralized social media. I don't know. I think that way. That's not a cash grab. We talking about like
that's DSOC,
like where everybody is like doing something to just get some money real quick. Everybody came out with NFT.
Nah, bruh. If you understand how the social credit stuff was working, or the social tokens, and like you understand, like this Web3 direction is gonna be for the people who can't code. So it's literally just we're gonna white label out all of the software at the retail level. It's gonna be commercial level, but it's the retail level part. Because what's going on is
you're saying a lot of so you're saying the next cash grab. I see where you're going with this. I think I agree. You're saying the next cash grab is going to be white labeling blockchain services, basically.
Create your own ecosystem.
No.
Yeah, that's exactly what I just said. That's pretty much
that's what that is what 10 Pound just said.
I think more or less, I'm not really sure about what's going to be just that super bomb next thing, but I can see each of those things that they're talking about taking a share of that. I do think the ecosystem thing will definitely blow up, especially if they get some celebrities or some type of stuff to endorse it or to start utilizing that. But I don't know whether those will be like, any of the past ICO bubble, the NFT bubble. I'm not quite so sure yet. But I do see all of those techs being viable and being used and having, their surges.
Well, shout out to WeCharge, man. I haven't heard from those guys in a minute. You guys got to hit me up, man. I wonder if that project's still going on. What are you gonna say, 10 Pound?
Oh, I was gonna say, I think decentralized social media was a trend that happened in 2016, 2017 crypto bull market, and I witnessed that shit. I was here for it. The whole Steam it,
we got it. Yeah, Voice. We were all hyped up. We were all anticipating Voice.com and.
Yeah, that shit flopped.
Yeah, so that wave is over. I don't think that's coming back.
Twitter Blue killed that shit. Sadly.
Twitter Blue?
No, Twitter Blue.
I wouldn't say that.
The little PFP.
Nobody even uses Twitter Blue.
Man, no, bro. Trust me, all the biggest NFT influencers and their shit post crew, they all love Twitter Blue, man. You got a hexagon PFP, you fit right in. That's how it is.
All right, fellas, that's about it. We on hour and 55, so that's summing it up. Hard stop at 2 hours. That's it, man. Appreciate all y'all. Make sure you again share this video, like, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to 10 Pound's channel. He doesn't have one. Subscribe to LJ's channel. Subscribe to Trek's channel. He doesn't have one yet. Maybe he'll get on that soon. I've been telling him for years.
I'm working on it.
It's your boy Crypto Blood. We out of here. Holla.
One.
Hey, we off?
I want to.